So one thing we learned about the Green Bay Packers of last season is that they certainly did not live up to their potential when it comes to their offense and what they were capable of doing. Yes, Jordan Love had that knee injury that really slowed him down and slowed his role, but his wide receivers did not do him any favors. The Green Bay Packers made some drastic changes to ensure that that does not happen again. There's not going to be a repeated offense of what happened last year to this year. If you can look on your screen right there, you can see this tweet of highest percentage of receiver error causing incompletions. Who's number one on that list? To the demise of the Packers was their number one on the list of error causing incompletions. Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed were repeated offenders last season. Look to that not be the case again. Brian Gutekunst went out and ensured that that is not going to be a reoccurring theme for the Green Bay Packers. Really love to see what they're already doing in OTAs. And yes, it is just OTAs. I understand that, but you can see some really positive things coming out of that. What do I mean? You're going to take a look right here at Matthew Golden, his route running ability, all of that. He's not fading upfield or rounding out his cuts. Here, he's working straight down the line and then back to the ball. And that's something that we're not used to saying is back to the ball, right? Coming back to the ball. You can see right there, a great hand, snags it out of the air. It's that subtle movement back to the ball. You gotta love it. And then you see here a little clip of Jordan Love, and it says right here, to me, these passes are the 2011 Aaron Rodgers vibe to them. And I get what he means when he's rolling back in the pocket. He's learned a lot from Tom Clements. You can see his footwork coming back. You got Golden right there that he's connecting with. Everybody's loving to see the connection between he and Matthew Golden right now. I'm certainly loving it, but you take a look at the Green Bay Packers depth chart. So Brian Gutekunst, when we look at last year's big crutch, their big thorn in their side offensively was they had so many drives stalled, whether at third down or fourth down, because their wide receivers just really couldn't hang on to the ball. So you look at the depth chart of the Green Bay Packers offensively. Let's just talk about the tight end here a second. You got Tucker Kraft, who is quietly one of the better tight ends in the league. Okay, this dude can do it all. He can block. He can catch. He can do everything that you need him to do. He's gonna answer that call. And then you got Luke Musgrave, who's one of those guys that could quietly come to the surface as an elite type of separating tight end out there when we're talking about the separation between he and the defenders. Luke Musgrave certainly is a matchup nightmare for a lot of defenses if he can stay healthy. And that seems to be a recurring theme also for the Packers if they can stay healthy, prefacing that with guys like Marshawn Lloyd, like Jair Alexander. There's so many guys, Christian Watson, that if they could stay healthy, man, these guys have certainly got the talent. That's why, Gutekunst went out and drafted him. But you look at the wide receiving core right here that Jordan Love is going to have to work with. You got Josh Jacobs in the backfield, and then you got Jaden Reed, a multiple facet type threat. This dude you can put him in a jet motion. You can do so many things with Jaden Reed. He's already proved to be one of the better slot receivers in the league. I think after this season, you're going to see that he's probably top two best slot receivers out there. Then you got Matthew Golden, who, we've saw some highlights of this dude of just coming back. His crisp route running is going to be a nightmare for a lot of defenses out there. But the fact that he came back to Jordan Love there, it's just that subtle movement back is so encouraging for not just us as Packer fans, but I'm sure the Packer coaching staff, Matt LaFleur, all those guys. Then you got Romeo Dobbs, who could potentially be some major trade bait because you've got this Swiss Army knife type wide receiver in Savion Williams. This dude can do exactly what Jaden Reed can do when we start talking about putting him in jet motion. He's like a Deebo Samuel type wide receiver. He's got a big frame. You can use him in so many different aspects to confuse the defense. Super exciting stuff right here. So then you've got the Green Bay Packers going out and signing a guy in Sam Brown Jr. And Sam Brown Jr., it's not like this dude is going to make the 53-man roster when you look at the talent that's in Green Bay. But this is going to be iron sharpening iron. He's probably going to make the practice squad potentially, depending on how well he does. But I just love the fact that the Packers keep bringing in talent. Martin, over his career, had 149 receptions for nearly 2,000 yards, receiving 9 touchdowns. He started at West Virginia, then went to Houston, and then ended at Miami. He participated with the Dolphins at their rookie minicamp before the Dolphins cut him, released him. Packers snag it because, again, iron sharpens iron. And when you look at the Packers right there, number one on the list in receiver error causing incompletions, well, this is certainly one of those things that Brian Gutekunst saw as an issue. And you bring in guys like Matthew Golden, like Savion Williams, and they got Dontavian Wicks there, who I think could be that number one caliber type wide receiver. If he can rectify the hands issue, he's got that Devontae Adams type effect to him. Then you got Christian Watson, who, man, we know the ceiling's so high in this guy. If he could just stay out on the football field, he's got to work at coming back to the ball as well, something you're already seeing rookie Matthew Golden do. That's why we went out in the first round and said, hey, listen, you know what? We want to put some weapons around our young talent in Jordan Love, who's looked super sharp so far. And what better way to do that than to spend a first round draft pick to go and get a guy with so much potential. Then you got Hardman, a guy that we picked up in the offseason as a guy that can not just be a special teams guru, but he can also stretch the field. And Hardman's that guy. Bo Melton, we already know what that dude's capable of doing. Same thing with Malik Heath. So there's so much talent here for the Green Bay Packers that it's just going to be, last year it was frustrating at times. I don't think that's going to be the problem for the Packers this year, because you're going to notice that Dontavian Wicks, all of a sudden, his hands are improving. Same thing with Jaden Reed, because you bring in guys like Savion Williams and Matthew Golden. I think it's absolutely genius for Brian Gutekunst to go out and do that. And that's only going to help everybody on the football team to just play better, want to be better, just perfect their craft. And it's going to be amazing to see. I want you guys to leave your comments, and as always, go Pack Go.